You'll find this delicious soup in Hong Kong-style cafes. It's full of warm and tangy flavors, it's rich in texture, and it's super comforting. Perfect for the fall weather. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Duty's behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. We are making Hong Kong borscht today. It is not Russian borscht. It does not contain beets or sour cream, but apparently the Russians made their way to China at some point and brought their recipe with them. But the Chinese decided to make their own version of it, but continued to call it borscht, and it's made its way to Hong Kong, and it was popularized there. I'm going to start off with my onion, and we're just going to cut it into chunks, or sections. Just going to cut it into eighths. I'm going to transfer it over to my plate, and we're going to, because there's so much of it, I can't fit all of it on my cutting board. Next, going to garlic. I'm going to bash it up with my mallet because my wrists don't work the way they used to anymore. It hurts, so I'm just going to remove the skin. And it actually makes it easier to chop up when it's been bashed. I'm going to mince up the garlic, putting that next to my onions. Next is a giant thumb size piece of ginger that I, again, am just going to bruise. I just want the flavor. I'm going to add this to near my garlic because that's going to go in at the same time. And if you want, you can just slice it up, totally up to you. I just want to be able to pick it out because I don't actually want to eat the ginger, I just put it in for flavor. I am using a jumbo sized carrot today, but you can use 2 regular sized carrots. I like the jumbo size because of the flavor. It is really sweet. And I'm just going to peel it and cut it up. I'm going to keep them about 1-inch size pieces because I'm using my pressure cooker to cook today. I'm leaving my vegetables in large chunks because I don't want to pulverize it to the point of mush. So we want it to keep its shape. So I'm just going to leave these in larger 1-inch size pieces. If I was cooking it on the stovetop, I might cut them a little bit smaller. But at the same time, you're cooking it for a long time anyways, even on the stove, that you don't want the vegetables to melt. Also using 1 stalk of celery. I'm also using a giant potato. So you can use 2 smaller ones if you want. It's just a Yukon Gold potato. I want a potato that's going to hold its shape. So I probably wouldn't use a russet because I find that those will melt more easily in soups. So a white potato or a yellow potato is good. Okay, we want to cut up our potato about the same size as our carrot. This really is a very big potato. I don't even know how to cut this up. I'm also using 2 tomatoes, and I believe that tomatoes started making an appearance in Hong Kong borscht because they didn't want to use beets. I'm assuming it's because they're red, and so they thought this was a good substitute. And so I'm just going to roughly chop up the tomatoes. And I'm using a quarter of a, I don't know, medium-sized cabbage. I'm just going to cut off this stem part. All right, we're going to heat up our pot first. I'm going to turn the sauté on and adjust it to high heat or more heat. And we are using beef back ribs today because I found them a little bit less expensive than even a chuck roast yesterday, which I found surprising. So with the chuck roast, I had to buy 2 because I was at Costco, and it was over $50. And I was like, what? So I opted to buy beef bones, the rib bones, and it came with like, I think 3 more bones than what I'm using today, and it was about 20 bucks. So there's enough meat to give the soup flavor, and that's what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily want a whole lot of meat in my soup, but I have about 2 pounds here. So I'm going to salt just one side of it for now, and this is the side I'm going to put down to sear, and then I'll salt the other side while this side is searing. This recipe can be found in my cookbook, Chinese Home Style, but I do use beef chuck roast in that recipe, but you can substitute that with the beef back ribs here. My family's favorite meat to cook during the holidays is a prime rib, so I will always ask for the ribs that are left, and I will freeze them and often use it in soups like this instead of buying fresh bones. And it just gives the soup extra flavor because it's been roasting in the oven along with all the juices and flavors for that rib roast. It will just add so much more to your soup. Once your pot is hot, add about a tablespoon of cooking oil. I'm using avocado oil today. And we're going to put our sear one side of the bones. Salt side down. Now I'll salt the other side before I forget. After about 2 minutes, we're going to flip them on to the other side. And if you want, you can sear the back side of the ribs as well, which might as well get that going as well. And just another couple of minutes. All right, once the ribs are done browning, you can pull them out. Just put them on a clean plate. Oh, I love the smell of beef cooking and searing. I'm going to add another tablespoon of avocado oil just because it looks a little bit dry in the pot. I'm going to add my onions and my ginger. Just stir that around a little bit. Get the flavors going first before adding some more ingredients. I try to remember how many pieces of ginger I have in there so that I can pull them out. So I've got 3 pieces in here. Okay, next I'm throwing in my garlic. Whoops. Stir this around for about 30 seconds, just until you start to smell the garlic. Then my celery and carrots. After about 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to add about a cup of water. And that's just to deglaze the bottom of the pot. You want to scrape up all the brown bits. That's where all the flavor is. Canceling the saute mode. And we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So I always forget to do this part, so I'm going to do this part first. About a teaspoon of paprika. About a teaspoon of kosher salt. Half a teaspoon of ground pepper. 1 bay leaf. It's all curled up because I dried this myself. It's from my aunt's laurel tree. I don't know why it doesn't dry flat, but whatever, that's going in. I'm also adding some tomato paste. This is tomato paste that I freeze in about 1 tablespoon pucks. And I need a 1/4 cup, so that's 4 of these. Just gonna add them in. Just gonna stir it around a bit. All right. Okay, adding my ingredients back in. So beef and any drippings it may have. Just pour it in. I actually don't have any. Potatoes, tomatoes. Whoops. All right, I'm gonna add my water first. And we want enough to cover all the veggies. So about 4 to 5 cups. Maybe not even just. I want to tuck these potatoes in though. But what happens in a pressure cooker is that none of the steam or liquid will release while cooking, and it will actually produce more liquid as it cooks. So we don't want to fill it with too much. And last but not least, we're going to put our cabbage right on top. And as it cooks, it will melt down into the soup, and it'll be cooked by all the steam. I am breaking up these larger pieces though, because we want them to cook through. Okay, putting the lid on, locking it into place, making sure this sealing knob is on sealing, and we're going to cook it on high pressure for 30 minutes. That's it. See you in a bit. All right, so it's done cooking. I let it slow release the pressure for about 15 minutes because I don't want it to spew everywhere, just in case, because it's quite full. And this is what we have. Let's just stir this up. Oh, look at that. Looks so good. All right, the meat is not as fall off the bone as I would like, so I'm just gonna chop it up. I'm gonna pull out the pieces first. Okay, sort of fall off the bone, but not really, so. Oh my goodness, that cat.
It's post-dinner.
Playtime.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna put the meat back into the soup. Actually, the meat reminds me of finger meat, which I love to use. So finger meat would be really great in the soup as well. And you know what? If you don't want to use meat, you can just make it vegetarian. Use a vegetable stock instead of water, or even just water if you want a more, I guess, clean tasting soup. But you can use whatever meat you want. You can use chicken or pork. It would all be delicious. All right, we can give that a stir. You see how the vegetables have kind of kept their shape. They're not completely obliterated. This is one hearty soup. Get this into a bowl. Are you all ready for?
There's nothing better than wholesome comfort food and a lot of wholesome comfort food. Guys, there's no way that you're gonna get this much from a HK style cafe. At the cha chan tangs, they're just a side soup to go with your set meal. So this is like our main. Smells awesome and really chunky, really hearty. Can I use the word rustic? I just did. Some of that broth first. Nice flavors. And from here you can add more heat with pepper. Give it some more low heat. Let's get some of that meat. Soft, nice texture. Vegetables are nicely cooked. The potato was not obliterated, just cooked perfectly. Oh, here's another one. Carrot. Same thing. Awesome mouthfeel. You can feed your family well and get all the flavors and a lot of it at the same time. We're gonna have leftovers too. So yeah, do it, guys.
Awesome, thanks, dude. So at the Hong Kong style cafes, you have a choice of a red soup or a white soup to go with your set meal. Which one would you choose? For this recipe, check it out on my website, FLO'S.com.